Alrighty, well, welcome everybody. We will be amending our constitution today, which I am very excited about. Got some good peeps here as always. Oh, alrighty, let me see if I can pull the constitution.
Colleen, I'm sorry, my audio was really not working just then. I just wanted to confirm that Vivica or you have the copy of the Constitution that I had added editing to work from, because it has track changes turned on.
Did you send it to us via email?
I emailed it to Vivica this morning.
Okay.
I'll send it to Colleen right now. I thought I would have my computer for today, but I do not. So
no worries.
Just on my phone at work. Colleen.
Do you want me to forward it to Colleen?
I just got it.
Okay, great.
Just getting it open. Open sesame, please. Sorry. Alrighty, I'm just trying to find where we left off. Vivica, I think Article 1, Section 3.
We actually decided that everything was good with the trustee part, and I think we were going to move on to Section 4.
Awesome. Hopefully it loads. It's not wanting to load right now.
Once it does load for you, Colleen, can you just pop it in the chat?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Without further ado, put that in the chat for you guys. You're more than welcome to follow along. I can also share my screen. So Article 1, Section 4. So we were moving on. Oh, am I in the right spot, Viv? Section 2, we went through there.
With the secretarial and treasurer duties.
Oh, okay.
Duties.
So we were here?
Yeah, right around there, yes.
Okay, awesome. So like we did last time, we're just gonna go line by line. And if you have any like edits you want to make, we'll make note of them, which is kind of super easy and fun. So we'll just start off with secretarial duties. So we're going to start off with Section 3. Does anyone have any changes that they want to make to that section?
Is that what Lisa said on the side about the roll call? We did start changing that, so for me to do the roll call, so I don't care either way who does it, but I know there was prior confusion about it.
Yeah, no worries. I just didn't know that was the secretary's job, which is why I was doing it, but as long as we want to keep that, I don't see anything wrong with Section 3. Oh, my dogs are barking. Okay, treasurer duties. So moving on to Section 4.
Colleen, if you're gonna not change it, you can go ahead and delete my comment.
guys. Please give me 1 second. I hope nobody's at my house. I have to.
How's everyone doing on this fine rainy day?
Just dandy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just dandy.
I'm feeling a little weird because rather than taking my notes on my laptop and making them look so nice, I have my little yellow legal pad to do that so I can transfer them over later. So I'm feeling a little weird today.
Vivica, you said you were at work. What do you do for a job?
I work at Bourne Town Hall, so I do like assistant/intern work there. So I'm just on my lunch break right now. I took it during the meeting so I could come.
Good for you.
Well, while we wait, one thing I'm thinking we could talk about briefly is everybody who's here on the elections subcommittee? Because we need to figure out a good time to meet. And
I
think
was, Lisa, but then I didn't realize I couldn't be if I'm planning on running, so I'm gonna step down from it.
okay, great. So then we need to figure out who's going to be on the elections subcommittee. If I can say that right, subcommittee. So it's going to be, I think right now it's Vivica, Max, and myself I'm the advisor rep, but we need, I think, 4 people, and Savannah can't be on it because she's running, Colleen's running, you're running. So we need 2 other people to join who are not running. Anybody in here? Describe that. Does that describe anyone in this room?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm getting ready for a 5th surgery next week. This is one of the reasons I want to apologize for my absence. I've been getting ready for this surgery and it's been kind of hectic. So my surgery is on Wednesday, but I need to talk to somebody in one-on-one, Colleen or Lisa or someone, to catch up on everything that I've missed so far and kind of like get me up to date on everything and see where I stand and how far I can take it and everything else.
Yeah, definitely. I'm back, my cleaning lady. Great privilege that we have her. She always seems to come when I have the most important meetings ever. So, but anyways, I'm in the car now, so I'm back. But yes, I'll meet with you. Jason, we can set that up for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, so treasurer. So Lisa has a comment here. What does this mean? So record all SGA budgetary transactions. So I believe that is just keeping a record of the money that we are spending, if I am not mistaken. Lisa,
Absolutely.
that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Do you think there's a way we can make this language clearer? Was this confusing for anyone else?
Even if we just say record, like, what are we, or do we have like how are we recording it? Do we just have like a running tally of like the money that we have?
I don't know. Kyle, what do you have? I mean, I think they're just really supposed to keep track of like when we spend our budget and when we don't spend our budget. But I think they're supposed to keep track in a way that's like you can go back and look at it. So I feel like this is pretty
I
clear.
have a question here for Kyle. Is Kyle keeping this by way of a spreadsheet?
Kyle's on the phone apparently, so we'll have to wait for his involvement.
No worries. I believe he is, if I remember correctly. Kyle's from the last conversation I had with him about his position, he's not only recording our budgetary transactions of this year, but he's also looking into what SGA has spent money on in the past for comparison, for inspiration, and just to be a really great treasurer. So that's pretty sweet if you ask me. So I know he has a record of the money that we've spent so far, which is really cool. So I'm gonna hit resolve for that. Alrighty, moving down. Maintain
As long as
accurate.
it's getting, oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries. It's all getting recorded.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as long as it's getting recorded, I don't think it's as important.
Yeah,
as-
it's okay.
I
Alrighty.
guess
Can we go
question
back?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So for the must submit monthly financial reports of the SJ to membership, I feel like we're not necessarily spending things monthly. So maybe what we can do is each midterm and final kind of point. So it's 4 times a year rather than monthly, because I feel like we really don't spend that much. So monthly is like not as needed, if that makes sense.
That's entirely what I was thinking. Vivica, you read my mind. That was kind of what I was thinking, that some of the administrative requirements that are written into the Constitution are a little bit, I feel a little heavy-handed, and it doesn't need to be quite like, if people have a specific requirement to look over a specific expenditure, I'm sure that can come up. But when you have things written into the Constitution, we're not following the Constitution if we're not looking at the expenditures every month. And there may be months that we don't spend anything, right? And so I think having that monthly requirement is unnecessary.
Yeah, so must submit, maybe I can put regular financial reports, and then we can determine how regular we want those to be in the future.
I think it can change too. I mean, like if we start spending way more money, then we need more.
Yeah, I think
reports, you
leaving it
know?
more open-ended will be very helpful for the treasurer. Like, okay, well, if we haven't, some random student just emailed me that they redid our entire constitution, and I have no idea who they are. So I'm going to, it looks like they're coming tomorrow. So that's, put a pin in that one. Thank you, student. So I think,
Colleen, can I jump in?
yes.
Sorry. I was gonna say maybe you could phrase it as if it exceeds a certain amount. If that makes sense. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think if we keep it more, like, you have to remember that when you make things very prescriptive, there are benefits and detriments to that, right? So having it like required to demonstrate the budget on demand would be, I think, like anytime someone asks for the budget to be submitted or made available, they have to do it. That I feel like would be the most flexible, but also the most responsive way to word it. I don't know, you can make it a money requirement, like an expenditure requirement. Also, but I think that instead of saying it like quarterly or regularly, which are a little too vague, say regularly on or on demand, then that way it's clear that it doesn't, if say the president said, hey, Kyle, I want to see, the expenditures, that they would be able to see it.
So must submit regular or on-demand financial reports of the SGA to the membership. Does that sound like good wording? Okay. All right. Next, preside and chair the Budget and Finance Committee. Maintain accurate accounts of student club budget. How does, I don't think that we have access to that. Vivica, you're waving your finger.
Okay, so 1, I don't think we have access to it. 2, I feel like rather than maintain, I feel like I just don't like the maintain there. I do think that it is a good idea to have SGA kind of like help clubs and be able to aid them in that. So having SJ like have those records would be helpful for like any purposes, but I don't think maintain is the right word. Rather, I think it should just be like have record of.
Yeah, I said keep record of. That way the treasurer is a little bit more involved. Keep record of accurate accounts on student club budgets. Lisa's comment, do you have access to these records? Kyle, do you have access to those records?
As of right now, no.
Okay, Asher, do you have access to those records?
Yes, I do have access
Okay.
to those records.
Would you please give Kyle access to those records sometime before our next meeting? Not the Friday meeting, but the next one.
Sure, I will give those records per access of Angela. Just want to make sure that she's good with it before handing over records.
Yeah, it's
And
just
she's
in our
good?
constitution. So, I mean, I don't want something in our constitution to be stepping over somebody's toes. But I also definitely like if it says like, here is a thing you have to do. I just don't want there to be any toes stepped on if we're writing it. So if you think it's going to be an issue.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be an issue, but I just have to go ahead and check with her.
Okay.
I don't personally see it as an issue.
Okay. Well, worst comes to worst, we go back and amend the amendment. So I'm not that upset about it. Resolve.
Okay.
Alrighty. Recommend to the SGA budget allocations for student clubs. Keep maintain well-ordered and accessible financial records for all clubs and SGA. So that'll come when he's able to get, or she, if there's a female treasurer down the road. This segment over here, segment 4, and then serve as voting member at college meeting. Beautiful. So Lisa says she thinks these two should be merged. I will merge the, guacamole.
It just seems like the duties of some of the officers are kind of outlining some of the material that's later in the Constitution. So
Yeah.
organizationally, I think it would make sense to figure out where we're going to say that and just put it in one place.
Yeah. So merging, like, I merged the 2 bullet points together. Right here, which makes sense. Alrighty. This seems to be election committee. So I think this is under public relations officer duties, Lisa, because they're working on the publicity of like the election and like getting the names of the candidates out there. Because they're PR. I think that's why this is in this section. But maybe that should be a little bit more specific. Maybe it's just in the.
No, my comment is really about when it comes to the subcommittee work versus what is the officer's role. I feel like some of the material that's under, I don't know, when we get to the later area, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's like a whole bunch of material that describes the process for elections, for example, is in 3 different locations, right?
Yeah.
And I think that and so that's more likely to have information that's going to contradict each other if you have it in 3 different materials or information. And I think when you get to the subcommittees on public relations subcommittee, some of this material could be there instead, or vice versa, right? Like it's a little duplicative, and so it's hard to make sure you've got consistent information. So organizationally, I would just recommend restructuring some of the Constitution.
Yeah. So what should I do with this section 4 then? Should I leave it? Should I change it?
Well, let's leave it for now, but when we get to the next section, when we actually get to public relations subcommittee, I think we can come back and try to merge.
Okay. All right. SGA parliamentarian duties. A parliamentarian of SGA will preside over SGA meetings in the absence, not vacancy, of the president and the vice president. Monitor each SGA meeting, ensuring the proper use of parliamentary procedures, and chair the Judiciary Committee. That is sweet, that is short, and that is simple. I agree with all of those things. Okay, section 3, student trustee. The Board of Trustees, which has governing powers over the college, includes an elected student member. The student trustee has a crucial role in the operation of the entire college and represents its interests of the student body as a voting member of the board. To be an informed and contributing member, the student trustee must attend regular SGA meetings, and to enable proper representation of SGA students' needs to the Board of Trustees may also be appointed to committees. The trustee is a voting member of the SGA, and the trustee's presence does count towards quorum. Student trustee who must comply with Massachusetts General Law, MGL Chapter 15A, Section 21, eligibility requirements for elections for the trustee position will be held annually during this SGA's spring general election. The procedure for the election can be obtained from the Student Engagement Office. The terms of office for the student trustee will commence on July 1st following the election and will continue until June 30th of the following year upon graduation.
Yeah, I think a lot of this needs to go under elections. I don't, when the term starts and stops and all that, it shouldn't be part of the duties. That's different. The election of the trustee should be under elections.
Yeah. It's a weird, like random, like everything else is like nice and neat and bullet pointed. And then you just get these random 3 paragraphs about the trustee also. Like, I don't see why the trustee couldn't be set
Yeah,
up
you need
the
to,
way
right.
this is.
Exactly. It needs to be set up exactly. It should be set up the same way.
Yeah, as the rest of the officers. Oh, I also have another comment. I don't know where my phone is. But I wanted to add the historian position into the executive board. Because that's a new position that we've been working with this year, which has been very helpful. Let me see if I can find it.
While you're looking, does anybody else have any comments or thoughts?
I found it. Unbold. Okay, what did I write? Sorry, I'm trying to type fast. Okay. This is what I have. So historian, SGA, historian duties. Keep an accurate track of SGA events, both in person and online. In some way, record SGA events and keep them on record. Be knowledgeable about SGA's past administrations. Work directly with the public relations chair to put out any SGA content on applicable public sites or SGA affiliated media. Social media is what I meant. These are just the things that Eric has been doing anyways. And then should I turn the trustee into one of
Okay, no,
these.
so here's what I would do with the trustee one. If you go down to trustee, okay. I would get rid of that whole paragraph. I wouldn't get rid of it, but just highlight it. And let's move that to the elections.
Okay. And I will try to find that.
Oh, you missed it. I mean, you could put it down at the end, very end of the document, which is elections. Yeah. There's, just put it at the end of the elections, and we can figure out adding it later. Yeah.
All right. I'll leave it highlighted so we know that's out of place. And then obviously I'm going to remove it from here, right?
Well, so you have track changes on, so it's automatic. As soon as you put just select it all and put backspace, and it'll delete it.
Oh. That's really cool.
Yeah. So hold on though, because
Where?
so yeah, just delete that paragraph because that's the only thing you moved. Right.
Oh no.
And then it's fine.
There we go.
It's fine.
There we go. Okay.
What did you do? Turned off so that you can't see track changes?
Yeah, I turned it off. I can still see it, but it was bothering my head. So I turned it off.
Okay. Okay.
Just a lot.
Yeah. I
right.
think any such vacancy occurring before the one term expires, this should be amended. And this should be in the elections area as well, because
This?
what happens is the way this is worded, it says that the trustee position is ended at the end of the academic year. Like, what if you have a trustee like Max who's graduating, and then it says that the new term starts in June? Technically, according to the Constitution, it's requiring that we do a special election for a 1-month position of a trustee, because the trustee position will be vacant in June. So I think we need to reword it to be very clear that if we have a graduating trustee, we'll just have a vacant trustee position for a month. We don't need to elect somebody to hold that office. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because any such vacancy occurring before the 1-year term expires, we need to reword that. So it says any such vacancy occurring before the end of the academic year.
So Lisa, I have a question for you. Are there any meetings held in the summer? The trustee meetings. So when is the last meeting?
I don't know, but even if there is a meeting held in June, I think we just don't have a trustee appear at that meeting, because because if you look at the way the Constitution is written, July 1st is the beginning of the new term. So if you have a graduating senior in May, right, their term ends as soon as they graduate, according to the Constitution. If you want to allow them to hold that position until the new person takes office, we can do that. But I think it's not clean. It's just, I mean, however we word it, it just needs to be clear that we're not expecting to have a special election for
For 1 month,
meeting.
right? No. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Are there meetings over the summer? Do we have SGA meetings over the summer?
No, there are not typically SGA meetings, regular meetings over the summer. There may be an ad hoc scheduled retreat held over the summer, but they're ad hoc. They're not regular, and there's no standing meeting. There have been meetings that have been held, but usually they're specific special meetings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we got that fixed. Resolve.
Yeah, so can you, just delete that. Don't resolve it, just delete it.
How do I delete it?
Hit right click. Do you have a Mac?
No.
No? Okay, good. Just right click and delete comment. Scroll down, delete. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say, so we're going to parse this out. Take that second sentence that starts with any such vacancy, and we're going to move that to the elections area.
I know I'll see it because I highlighted it. Okay, that makes sense. That's a good spot.
Okay, did you move it?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I missed it. You're so fast.
I know, Lisa. I'm Lightning McQueen. I forgot this was being recorded. I am speed. All right. Where the heck was I just? Oh boy. Okay. Any such to be deleted. Okay. I'll turn this into bullet points.
No, don't worry about it. We can, but we'll clean it up after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, section 4, moving on to member duties. All members must represent SGA in a positive and respectful manner. I agree. Maintain an active presence and be available to report any necessary information to SGA for consideration as it pertains to student interests. Lisa wants more definition on an active presence. The way we've been doing it is if you miss 2 meetings, you are considered inactive. If you miss 3 meetings, you are done. Because
Is that actually in the Constitution, or is that
Yeah.
just the way that?
It is in the Constitution elsewhere, and that's the other reason I kind of highlighted it. Number one, that's grounds for removal. Yeah, it seems honestly that rule. I feel like that's very strict, and it's a bit much, to be honest. You know, you don't get kicked out of a class if you miss 2 classes.
right.
It seems a little extreme to say that if somebody misses 2 meetings that they're kicked out, because people can still maintain an active presence. That's, I guess, my point is that maintaining an active presence, I think, is more important than whether or not they're able to make it to every meeting, right? You've got some senators who can't make it, but are still interested in being active. Maybe they're active in subcommittees. Maybe they're active
Do
at
you-
events.
Do you want to quantify active in a different way, or do you want to have it be more subjective?
I think you should probably clarify it in a little bit more quantifiable way, but not quite as strict as missing 2 meetings. You know, somewhere in between maintain an active presence and you must attend all meetings.
I have a quick question here. Active presence, could that be in communication with the executive board at some point saying, hey, I'm not going to be here for the next 2 meetings, having something where we can trail the notes that have been taken, maybe, something illness, it could be anything.
Yeah,
But is there a need to track this from some kind
Exactly.
of communication?
yeah, exactly. Something like that would be really, really effective. So it's documented, something that, demonstrates that they're making an effort. We have someone on this call who's just saying, hey, I've got lots going on, but I want to stay involved. That person's not going to get kicked off, right? It's the person who's not communicating, not, not responding. That's the person that we're going to remove. So
I think it sounds like it comes down to effort. Like, if there's an effort of like, okay, I'm not going to be here for whatever because X thing happened, but like I'm still communicating with you versus just like completely ghosting and just not showing up. Am I right on that?
yeah, that sounds, I mean, it's your constitution, but that would be my recommendation, something like that.
I said, shall communicate projected absences in a timely member to at least 1 member of the executive board.
So Vivica just wrote in the chat, I know Colleen has documentation about absences and if they're excused or not. I feel like after 3 absences, it can be up to an exec board vote if they should be removed. And there needs to be a documentation as to why.
Yeah, I've just been keeping track of the attendance and letting people know, like, hey, warning, like, you're kind of like, we're gonna start considering you inactive, and then okay, just so you know, like, if you don't come to the next meeting, like, we have to get rid of you because of our constitution. But I sent out one recently that said, technically, this email is supposed to be removing you, but we're changing our constitution and that might change too. So if you just come to the meeting tomorrow or Friday, I will not do that.
Is there like do you have excused absences? Like what constitutes that?
I'm honestly, if you just tell me that you are going to be absent beforehand, I don't count it against you. I think communication is key in having a successful organization. And if somebody communicates well with me, I'm never going to hold that against them.
So I think that needs to be written into the Constitution, Colleen, because right now, if people miss two absences kicks you off no matter what. And that seems a bit draconian, whereas your policy, the way you're interpreting the Constitution, is a better approach. So let's make what you do be what the Constitution says. I think ahead of time. Yeah, projected absences. That's right.
Okay, communication of the projected absences will
not be counted. Will not count against the member.
Will not count against the member.
Get rid of counted and make it count.
Oh, wait. If there is communication of the projected absences, then the absence will not count against the member. Okay. To the best of the member's ability, he, she, they shall communicate projected absences in a timely manner to at least one member of the executive board. If there is communication of the projected absences, that is just nuts.
So, yeah, so I'm all in favor of less wording. So if we could just make that instead of just to clean it up a bit, I would recommend saying if so the absence will not count against the member.
If what? The absence will not?
If so, I mean, you say in the last sentence, he, she, they shall communicate projected absences in a timely manner. You know, if so, comma, and then get rid of the rest. Like then the absence, get rid of everything to then the absence, or the up to the, yeah.
And then I'm going to put S in parentheses because somebody was like, hey, I will be missing this meeting, and this meeting this year, and like let you know super duper ahead of time. Like you can do more than one at once. Okay. To the best of the member's ability, he, she, they shall communicate projected absences in a timely manner to at least one member of the executive board. If so, the absences will not count against the member.
Not to be that English major, but also apostrophe after members.
Where? Oh. He. No, that's why we keep you around, Libby.
Shucks.
One of many reasons.
Alrighty. And then we have follow and observe the necessary confidentiality and security protocols set by the federal, state, and institution policies. I have never read those. I just go by like, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of privileged information, but if I did, I wouldn't share it.
Well, we should probably have Sky Green come talk about FERPA because yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
File under boring but important. Yay, constitutions and FERPA. We're getting partying down here.
I know. I don't tell my mom. Partying too hard. Okay. Moving on. Section 5, eligibility. So, eligibility for students running and serving in SGA. New and returning students must be enrolled at least 6 credit hours for officer positions and be enrolled at least 3 credit hours for senator positions. That makes sense. That sounds good. Backspace. A
This
student,
section seemed pretty well written and was pretty clear. Does anybody have any edits? We don't need to read it again. We read it the last time.
I removed a comment. So this is saying that Project Forward students cannot be anything but senators.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I guess they're part-time, so it would directly contradict what we wrote here. Okay. Section 6.
Well, it's interesting though. You're right. I think that the part-time 6 credits is still part-time,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
think that this
I'm
is an
6 credits this
additional-
semester, but I'm still, and I'm technically part-time, but I can still be an officer, right?
Yep, it's
Yeah.
only 6.
But the thing about Project Forward is it's just a matter of, you don't really want somebody in Project Forward to be handling money or running for president, or
Yeah.
we
that
had a
makes sense.
situation last year, if you might remember. It's only partially because some students in that area are excellent, and we want everybody to participate, of course. But what might happen with a Project Forward student is that they have a much higher estimation of their own abilities than they actually have. And once they're in the position, they might actually not actually realize that they're not able to complete that task at hand.
That
So
makes
we
sense.
don't want to, we don't want to be in that position.
All right. So, terms of office. SGA members will serve in their positions until the end of the current academic year, at which point they may run for re-election. Students elected in the spring as next year's SGA may be seated at the meetings of the SGA following the election, but will not assume office as a voting member until the end of the academic year. That makes sense.
Any comments?
No. I did have a comment from earlier. Vivica was talking to me about how I am not allowed to vote unless it's a tie. That's normal for other organizations, right?
Yeah, if you're running the meeting, you shouldn't vote.
Okay,
That's the deal. So you're running the meeting, so you shouldn't vote. When I run college meeting, I don't vote.
makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Grounds for removal. Failure to attend all student meetings shall be considered a resignation, and vacancies will be filled. Oh, I hate that. The amount of times I've had to send that line to people and felt horrible. It's worded mean and it sounds strict and I don't like it.
What's an all student meeting? What does that mean?
Our meetings, like our SGA meetings.
Oh, just
I
the,
think-
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you should change the all student meeting and just say SGA meetings. And
I was like, is there another meeting I'm supposed to be going to?
no,
I got it.
no.
Okay.
And you can say SGA general meetings. Why don't you say SGA general meeting? And so failure to attend, or I think what you do is you refer back to the excused absence policy, right?
Should we keep it at 2 but reference the policy?
Yeah, because what this does is that allows people who aren't communicating, we can just remove them, right? You can remove the people who don't communicate.
What's crazy is you can email me and be like, it's my dog's birthday, I'm not coming. And I'd be like, okay, thank you for talking to me. And you're good.
So, yeah. So
That's
can
also
you go
how
back?
like a lot of jobs work too. Like, I mean, like I know my
Right.
boss, like I'll be like, hey, I'm taking X amount of time off. And like, I don't even really have to give you a reason, but as long as I give you enough time that you can find somebody else, it's fine. Like, that's kind of how it works.
Yep. Can
I
you
went
go
to-
back to that though, but because you have to clarify.
I
the
know,
way it's
I
written,
was trying to
it's still-
find it, but I went too far.
Head out.
Oh.
So if you're the one recording, Colleen, can you just shoot it to me when the meeting's over?
Yep.
Okay, I get out of work and then I have a meeting until 7. So I should probably have all of this done by like 9 tonight and sent out so we can
You're good.
revise it. and go over it tomorrow.
Okay.
Be sure you take some time for yourself too, Vivica.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I already had a monster today, and there's a Red Bull on my desk.
Oh
I'll be
God.
fueled up.
Well, thank you, Vivica. I appreciate you.
So going back to the very beginning of number 1, instead of failure to attend 2 SGA general meetings, I would recommend putting, just say accumulating 2 unexcused absences, because you talk about what unexcused absences are below. So you want to say accumulating 2 unexcused absences, and then you say, excused absences are.
Like accumulating 2 unexcused absences to
Yeah.
SGA general meetings? Yeah.
I don't know if I like the word accumulating. I'm trying to come up with a better word for that, but accumulating is what we'll use for now. Accumulating 2 unexcused absences. 2, fine. I don't like it, but we'll work it out.
Okay.
At
Collection? No, maybe not.
Or-
Gather? No, gathering wouldn't make sense.
Receiving?
yes. Receiving. Good.
Arriving.
Receiving. Are you Italian?
Receiving. Mamma mia. Pizzeria. Okay. Receiving 2 unexcused absences for SGA general meetings will be considered a resignation and vacancies will be filled. The secretary shall report such forfeits to the president for announcements. I have never announced them at meetings. Ever. I do it all in secret.
Kind of mean.
Yes, it is. It's like bullying. It's hazing. We signed anti-hazing.
Yeah, and it takes up time you don't have. I'll get rid of that sentence. Can you make it the word instead of for? Can you make that at?
This one.
Yeah.
Or okay, we don't have office hours.
Because you don't have an office.
Haha. Funny.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Coming soon.
Hopefully.
Coming soon to a college near you.
Tardiness recorded after roll call of 2 SG meetings will constitute 1 unexcused absence. I think it should be. No, it probably shouldn't be 3.
Well, here's the problem. The way that this is written, it means you're penalizing people who say, it's my dog's birthday and don't show up. They get more of a right than the person who just shows up late.
Yeah.
So I honestly think you should just get rid of that whole tardiness thing.
Yeah, I just like it when people show up, to be honest. If you're consistently late and that's just an issue, then you can have a human conversation. You don't need a worded document to outline how that conversation goes. Okay. An absence is
I think there's also a difference between showing up 15 minutes late and showing up 3 minutes before we end.
yeah.
You know?
That's true.
You could add and say a window period. If that makes
Mhm.
sense.
So you have 2 different definitions for absence in this Constitution. You've got absence from a meeting, and then you've got absence here. I think you should just get rid of the definition of absence, the number 2, just get rid of that, because that just complicates things. You don't want to have the same word defined 2 different ways. And you can get rid of my comment on the side. It says this is vague, and this seems strict. Let me delete both of those.
Okay. All right. What about the vacancy? A vacancy is defined. That's just randomly in there. What office hours? We have no office. Where did you write that? That's hilarious. All right. A vacancy is defined as a permanent non-attendance of an SGA member due to resignation, ineligibility, transfer, graduation, or leave of absence. Why does it just randomly say failure to?
Because that's a ground for removal.
But
But honestly, that's a I guess that just gives you flexibility if somebody's not doing their job to remove them.
what?
I think it gives you the right to just remove someone if they're not doing their job.
Honestly, that should probably, as a fail-safe, that may be a good thing to keep.
Well, I suggest moving on to B, the appeals
Okay.
process.
A written report must be submitted to the secretary and advisors detailing, I'm going to put parentheses there, detailing why an appeal is being made. It then shall be considered by the SGA officers and dean of enrollment and advising. If accepted, it will go to trial in SGA.
So
What does
I
that
don't
mean?
know.
Go to try? Do we just vote on it?
Yeah,
That's
I don't
it.
know what this means. What is appeal of what? Of somebody saying I want to stay with
Appeal
this?
of removal.
Oh,
I
okay.
would just put, it will be voted on instead of it will
We'll
go to
vote-
trial. Because
Yeah, go to vote.
yeah.
Go to vote. Yeah, that's a good edit.
Should it be like, it doesn't say what kind of vote it should be. Should I say that it should be a majority vote? Or something?
I think you are adhering to Robert Rules of Order, so just follow that.
Yeah, whatever it says. Impeachment procedure. In all cases where misconduct and failure to fulfill capacity as an officer or member of the SGA is charged by members of the student body by petition, this stuff is terrifying, but I believe it is the student body's right to do so. It is the
Has
most
that ever happened?
no.
Okay.
That would be like a coup. If the this gives Cape Cod Community College students right to put on a nonviolent coup. If they were like, if they wrote letters and was like, we don't like Colleen, I would have to go to Article X and be like, all right, I guess I'm out, homies. Y'all don't like me no more. Just like that. That's exactly how it would
Yeah, and I think it's so infrequently used, and this particular section on impeachment, frankly, is so it's well written and it's fine. I
It
think we should
is.
move on. Let's move on to section 8.
Vacancies. Upon receipt of letter of interest, the SJ president will consider nominees for positions. Yeah, nobody's sending me letters.
I think
I love
yeah,
letters.
I would
Are we
recommend.
supposed to? I didn't know we were supposed to.
Yeah,
I just sent an email and I was like, yo, I want to be involved in this.
I mean, when people say I want to do this, I say okay, and I add you to the email list.
Yeah.
I would say instead of receipt of letter of interest, say upon notification of interest. Yeah.
The SGA president will consider nominees for positions. Vacant seats will be filled at any time through appointment by the SGA president with a majority vote of confirmation by the SGA membership.
Okay, you can delete my comment. Yay, I love it when my comments get deleted.
I think I left some up here, but I'll go back and delete those unless we need them. Okay. Article 2, SGA meetings. The SGA shall hold monthly meetings each. No, we don't have monthly meetings. They're different. They're not monthly. And they may not be monthly in the future.
I think you should say regular meetings.
I agree. Each semester, where feasible?
Don't know. I think that was probably referencing where,
Like online or
COVID.
in person?
Yeah, but I think you should just say SGA shall hold regular open meetings. And let's get rid of all that verbiage.
What? Delete. SJ meetings are open meetings. Oh, well, I guess I don't need to put that there.
No.
SJ meetings-
I was suggesting merging the two sentences. So the
I see.
SGA shall hold regular open meetings.
All
Yeah.
SGA meetings, including committee meetings, require 48 business hours posted notice. Executive sessions may be called in accordance. Mr. Robert.
Okay, so hold on. Let's say 48 hours, not 48 business hours.
Yeah, because 48 business hours is like a week, isn't it?
It is.
Executive sessions may be called in accordance with Massachusetts open meeting law. Cool. I love my boy Robert. Unless nullified by this Constitution. All rules contained in Robert's Rules of Order Revised, the latest edition, and the Massachusetts Open Meetings Law will govern all student SGA standing committee. I'm not putting student SGA. That's like saying Sahara Desert.
Correct.
Or chai tea.
Alrighty. Open meeting time.
So it says there that they have to appear, if they want to, wait, go back. You have to appear before the SGA to get on the meeting agenda, but you should also list that they can comment during open meeting time.
Open agenda.
Right, that's what I meant, yeah. So I would just say during open agenda, you don't need to keep going. Less is
Guys,
more.
I'm a verbiage girl, so. Alright,
All right, it is 12:30.
okay.
I know this is taking a really long time, and I just want to commend everybody for their energy and attention to this. And it looks like we're going to need another meeting before we can discuss everything up to section 2 tomorrow. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And so then that'll be a discussion, and then we can have some more discussion and, get this done by the end of the semester, really. But I think we need to probably try to schedule another meeting as soon as we can. I know that it looks like, oh, we're only halfway done, but the last few pages are really much faster. So it's not going to, I think probably 1 or 2 more meetings and we'll be done.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna stop my recording. Let me stop my
and we
share.
can set the next meeting,